Welcome in, satellite fans, to another edition. I am your color analyst here, subbing in for Robbie Lastella tonight here on this rebroadcast, and my play-by-play Reagan on Reagan's Corner Sports Network, Raina Fegans for you. And what's it good on this rebroadcast night here on Reagan's Corner Sports Network / Satellite Sports Network?
Yeah, super excited to get into this game. I believe it was their senior night, so I'm sure the crowd is energized for this game.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's one of the most unique gyms in Northwest Indiana. It's kind of like a pit gladiator
Yeah.
feel to it, a little bit different. And the arena looks like the Blackhawks are going to go into their kind of orange trim with kind of black lettering here.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's very clean.
Absolutely. Which we kind of talked a little bit off air, but it's not a good sign when you're going to hype video for the opposing team, and that's their lineup, opening lineup.
Yeah, a bit of a bad omen maybe. But it's a good song.
It's a great song. Till You Eclipse by Eminem. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
All right, who do you? Oh wait, well, I guess you already know, but about Tip, I was gonna ask you, who are you gonna go for? That's a tall. I can't see his number, but that guy's tall on the white team.
Caden Peppers, I think Peppers gets the tip here. And they kind of do like a walking kind of score for one of your seniors, I believe. They don't call me
Okay.
Houdini for nothing here on Reagan's Corner Sports Network.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
All right, and then are they just gonna Oh yeah, they'll score and then sub them out.
So they kind of canceled it out with Derek Welch's two there.
I think the girls also did that.
I don't know.
Or was it the boys again?
I think the girls just straight up scored.
Well, okay. I think there was a boys game where they had one person try to shoot it, but it took them a really long time.
I think it was lacrosse.
Yeah.
But anyway, back into this. Let's get into it kind of a little bit more here.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go up. Solid team, so they have a lot of ground to cover, and the Satellites are in a 2-3, trying to block those corners. They struggle a little bit on closing out, and they do have they're two tall players that can really get them down the post. They shoot a three, not quite. We have Derek Welch grab the rebound and shoot it, and that's good. A nice three-pointer to start out.
And Welch from downtown,
he's very confident.
He's starting to get going a little bit. It's good to see him, especially when you draw a hard draw like North Judson for your first game of the section.
Yeah, that's true. And I think he was on a little bit at the beginning of the season, and then the middle he kind of tapered out. So it's really nice to see him making some pretty good plays.
And the arena, Javari with a two ball there in the pocket there. Again, kind of going back to the Blackhawks there.
Right, yeah. You see a lot of shot fakes. A lot of threes taken. They're not quite on. Let's see. You got the charge call there. Nice. Great to get your feet set and just take the impact. And looks like Westville is going to press. Let's see how the Satellites struggle sometimes with the press. So hopefully they can beat it. And then they decided to just clear out and then pass it over.
The way the Satellites handle a press there, that might be the best move any plays.
Yeah. If you're seeing they're pressing, basically man press, it is just better to clear out and let your point guard deal with it. Looks like it's going pretty good for the Satellites here. Getting a lot of good calls and confident three-pointer. and they're up by 1 point.
It's a
As
very
refs talk.
it's a very confident kind of thing. So the refs kind of think that there's a foul there or whatever, but Butka, one of the refs, who is actually the varsity girls coach, kind of chooses other ways because he has a better view on it. But
Yeah.
number 10, Javari, has been kind of a little on control lately, unless, excuse me, folks, I'm getting over a cold here. But he's been, speaking of Javari, with a breakaway. Almost.
Great read there. Great effort by the Satellites. Good hustle. But it is going to be Westville's ball. They did stop scoring, so that's great.
Yeah, Jack Haschel had a nice little thing there. And I'm surprised he didn't do a snow angel on their floor.
Yeah, they struggle. The Satellites struggle a little bit on closing out, so those corner threes are going to be tough for the Satellites to get to. And we have Strauss with the ball, passing it. Just knocked out. Great hands, though. And rushing back for a quick little mid-range, and it's good.
And
Westville now up not 10-5.
And Hannon with that 3-ball to kind of get it a little bit farther away here.
Right, those 3 points really add up quick, and that lead can get out of hand. So really guarding that line, it's difficult, right? Studying your defense is pretty difficult, especially on a good team that can shoot threes. You saw mid-range, they can shoot layups. It's going to be tough, but, this is what you practice for. You just do your best.
And plus, you want to be the spoilers lights, going on their senior night, because your senior night just got spoiled by Knox, so you might as well do it to Westville.
Right.
But with that 3-point shooting going into that zone, it's going to be really tough. And
I think it just takes a lot of faster movements and maybe just faster thinking that the Satellites just don't quite have yet. They've gotten so much better since the beginning of the year, but when all these players are able to catch and shoot, it's hard to cover all of that ground. And I think that's why they're the 2-3 here. Man would be a little bit too tiring, and they definitely cannot be too tired in the fourth half, because Westville sure want to be. We have Westville doing some solid passes around in another corner 3. Just a little to the right, but they get the rebound, another one. A little short there, and the Satellites get the rebound. Try to pass for a fast break. Was knocked out by Westville, but the Satellites get it on the baseline.
Absolutely. And while we have a little bit of a break, we thank you to Westville Schools and West Booker for being so welcoming here in Blackhawk country. But speaking of getting a nice little dipsy-do, a little foul there, Derek Welsh drives it in, kind of there, Raina.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty good stuff so far at the beginning. A nice solid 3. That was a great play there for a 3-point play. And shooting 1 here. Hopefully he can make it. Free throws really add up towards the end of the game. And he does. He makes it. It's good. Westville passing it in. No press from the Satellites. So Westville brings it up to the top of the key. Nice swing and drive, and then back up. Passing a lot of movement on that offense. It's hard to keep track. The Satellites are able to get the rebound. Going up quick up the court. Looking to start a play early. And a deep 3. Oh, and it's good. Derek Welsh is having a great game.
Absolutely, he is there, Raina. But I think they need to slow it down a little bit.
Definitely. I definitely agree. I think they get overexcited sometimes, and it's kind of working out for them right now. But Welsh again, not this time. But, you can only hit so many threes, and our rebounding just isn't there right now. And we have Westville passing around a 3-point. Almost lost it. but it's back up to the key for a drive. Pass out for a corner 3. Nah, just a little to the right, but they get the rebound. And a nice little putback. Satellites again running up the court, quick passes. Yeah, there you go. That was like a 2-on-4. That's a tough one, and they get the fast break layup. Satellites again rushing up the court, trying to get Strauss to get a shot before anyone gets set. Just not quite there. And a little short, Colin Ward. Lots of threes the Satellites are taking tonight. Oh, nice, and they're able to defend. And Westville throws the ball out.
Yeah, Gavin Hannon throws it away there. That's keeping the Satellites close here. The turnovers for the Blackhawks so far.
Yes, exactly. The Satellites have been doing pretty well in capitalizing on their mistakes, but when they're not making mistakes, Satellites are falling behind. Nice little play there, just couldn't quite make it. But you're trying again and fouled. We have Noah Howard to the line. Great little play. Again, Satellites play, there feels like there's a lid on the rim sometimes. But lucky we got a foul there.
Absolutely. And it was a nice little dippy do give the go with bottom back to Howard there. Just, you got to finish that, the freshman there.
Yeah, but we're seeing a lot of good team chemistry.
It's a good sign for next year.
Yeah. That's interesting. He puts his left foot in front of his right foot, even though he's a righty. Interesting. But Westville's bringing it up, passing around, going to the post. Oh, a lot of contact there, about 3-on-1 and a pretty big shoulder, and Westville scores. Looking like
Higley got the worst of it.
that was tough. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, but that was a big hit to the face. And I understand why he's going to sub down right now. Hopefully he can break off and come back in. But Satellites still get the ball and they're bringing it up. Again, clearing out, just letting their point guard, Colin Ward, figure it out. He did a good job. And there you go. You had the Westville player come up and rush to double team and ended up throwing it away. The Satellites struggle with pressure, especially energetic pressure like that. They make bad plays when they do that. They make bad decisions. So Satellites need to recognize what's going to happen and think a little bit more critically. And we still have Ward with the ball trying to make something happen. Not quite his way off. Blocked, though. And Westville's able to keep it in and bring it up the court. Another quick pace. Trying to get that fast before I set up on defense. Ooh. We got a blocking foul there. That kid is powerful. You can tell. Anytime he hits anyone, they're falling hard on the ground. So he's going to be a tough one to tackle in the post.
Absolutely. Maybe SC should recruit him for football because
he's sturdy. Oh, and he hits another deep 3 there.
Steph Curry range there for
that was good.
Javari Ballin.
Yes, he's also having an outstanding game. Of course, very powerful, and I think that's tough to play against. But the Satellites are passing around looking for something. Not quite. We have a 3-second call in the lane.
3-second violation.
Those are always tough. Those are tough calls to get. They're kind of annoying sometimes, especially if you're a post player. You kind of just forget about it. It can be a pretty big game changer, too. Those are calls that sometimes don't get noticed. So when they do get noticed, it's a bit a surprise.
Absolutely. And Hannon just misses off the rim there. But Javari just too strong there. Pepper's just too strong. The big Pepper's inside for the Satellites there.
Yeah, that was great. Satellites, again, rushing the ball up. But they're setting up their offense now. And we have a nice little 3 from Lautenbach.
Howard.
Howard. 13.
Assist, Lautenbach there.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. Great play. Oh, but they're able to just get a nice little floater in. Satellites bringing the ball up. Ooh, a good play there, just not quite communication on where we're going to get the pass, but good play. And Westville is going to get the ball. I see some arguing there. And it looks like Westville's ready. They're up 24-16 with about 10 seconds to go. And Westville misses. Satellites get the rebound. Probably looking for the last shot here. Oh, sorry, they made it. Looking for last shot. Coming up to the end of the first quarter. So you're stalling. Gonna pass around the perimeter a little bit. Really not a lot of pressure from Westville. Kind of letting the Satellites wait this timeout. And we have a drive there from Howard, not quite. They're going to rush up the court, Westville. 3-on-1. Not good. We get the rebound, and that's good.
Absolutely.
Westville ended up getting the last shot there. And they're up 26-16 at the end of the first.
If you're the Satellites, you got to avoid that run that most teams take on you. And it seems like it's coming. You can kind of see it there, Raina. That run that's 22, that's 31 kind of run that the Satellites have. And that's why they're in the hole this year with 5 and this and that, because they allow those kinds of runs to great teams like this.
Right, yeah, it's just it's tough to play against a team that's well placed. You can tell, I mean, their plays look great. They run them cleanly. They're not really interrupting their offense enough, so they got to get a little bit more physical. Don't let them take the line. Don't let them cut in front of you. It's easier said than done, but that is just what you do to be a good offense like that, is to get them out of their rhythm.
Yeah, like you said, especially when you have 2 guys in the Peppers and number 40, Schumann, who are just more physical down there. Bottenbach is trying his heart out down there in low post, but when you don't have Brandon Grass tonight and you don't have Colton Bennett, 2 stars, 2 starters, that's a kind of a slippery slope to start off.
It is, absolutely. That's a hard 2 people not going to be here. Bennett brings sort of a good game of bringing energy up because he can take it to the rim and get some layups here and there. The Satellite kind of need that right now. They're down 10, down 12 now. Looks like we're going to have a timeout or just subs. Not too sure.
Timeout. What do you say in the huddle there, Raina? Because Eric Spears is just livid.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, I can understand there's some things you feel like your players should be doing. Obviously, the Satellites are not trying to lose, but again, you have to remind them of kind of the fundamental things they need to be doing. That's going to make a difference on the court. So we should be working on our closeouts, having a little bit better footwork, and I think the Satellites will be able to drop this lead in the second quarter.
Vehicles and excellent customer service. You could say
I hope you're right there, Raina. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go into the half down a lot. That's a tough second half to play.
Absolutely. And as Satellite Gym is one of the best in PCC, Westville's right behind it, especially in that pit. It's like a gladiator field down there. So you can't let Westville get the momentum because that place can get rocking. Okay.
No pressure dealer.
Yeah, I can. I think that's why there's such an early timeout here. Something needed to change right then, or else they were going to get a big shift of momentum. And we have everyone back on the court. But that press again, Satellites, they're going to pass it and clear. And they get it over the half. A lot of people down at the post 3. And we have some screening. A nice pass there to Strauss. He's looking around, pivoting. He decides to hit a little hook shot there, and it's good.
A
That was a
little
nice play.
a little baby hook there from
Yeah.
Clayton Stroud.
A
I
lot of
mean,
fakes and then just gets it.
but with the other two energy guys out, Clayton's got to step up here and give his team kind of the energy that he's given them all year long.
Right, yeah, and instead of kind of having to do that in the second half, he's going to have to do it the whole game. He's a really strong second half player, but, with two starters down, you have to be a really good player for the whole 4 quarters. Nice little play there, just a little short. Needs a little bit more power on that shot, and we have the satellite on the ground. Jack Haschel? Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah. I mean, you're doing a better job than most people with Haschel. So, it was a very good kind of loose ball there from Jack. Welsh again just rims out.
Yeah, I mean, a wide open 3 there was a good play, just can't quite knock it down. They get that fast break again. That's tough. You have to stop ball, and you have to stop ball at the half court, and they're stopping ball almost down at the post. That's why those fast breaks are getting out of hand. Another steal from Westville. And a nice block. That's great hustle, but they end up getting the rebound there. Great hustle from the Satellites. And now they're set up in their 2-3 again. Passing around the perimeter. Looking for an open shot, seems like. Kind of a flash up from the posts and screens. Pretty basic offense. Really just looking for a free shot, it's looking like here. Satellite's doing well in guarding. Can't close out quite well, but they miss, and Satellite gets a rebound. We have, can't see. Ward bringing the ball up, it's stolen now. Another, a nice fast break. Great hustle, but that you can't stop that one. They're bringing it back. Satellites down 34-18. Looking to stop those fast breaks should be the number one priority on the Satellites' minds. And that has to start out with a good offense and good passes. And another wide open 3. Oh, just really in and out. That's a tough ball there. Good shot, in and out. Westville gets the rebound. Shooting at the top, and it's good.
And Hannon just drilling it, and bullseye for Gavin Hannon. But, Raina, what can you do to get him off the line there? Do you go man? Because, man, they're going to overpower you with the size and speed.
Man is not the way to go. They just don't have the matchups for it. I do like the zone, but I think they're going to have to run a little bit of a stretch zone instead of being so centered on the key. They're shooting, that's going to leave a lot of layups open, but they're hitting their threes, so you have to stop that. And their closeouts are quite fast enough to, those fast passes are tough for the Satellites. So if Westville keeps playing at a slow pace, they'll be fine, I think. But if Westville starts picking up the speed, they're going to create a bigger lead. A deep 3.
This Westville team reminds you of the girls for South Central so much. Well coached, can shoot it from range, can pressure you, can slow it down.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very right. I didn't notice that till you said it, but they're just on the right part of the court at the right time. Their movements are very, efficient. They're not taking any unnecessary steps. They're quick and powerful. And that's hard, especially when they're powerful. You can't push them out of your way, And if they're in the right spot, you're going to have to figure out some more agility moves to get around them.
Absolutely. And plus, when you have two of the pepper that's going to be next year, and they're both at about 6'5".
Yeah.
And they're fast, big, strong, can shoot from range. It's going to be a hard test. And then you still got Javari Ballin, who's just an all-out kind of player who's a slasher, kind of smooth with it, a little Jalen Ivy without the jump. But we don't know how far he can jump because you saw him casually get that layup in, okay? Because you could see a little Jalen Ivy in Ballin's game.
Yeah, it's good. And again, when you have players like that, your goal shouldn't be to completely shut them down. Your goal should be, to have them score less than they normally do. So that should be the mindset of the Satellites. And a deep three from Strauss. That mindset's also kind of hard in a zone because it's a little bit difficult to keep track of where the shooters are. They're all shooters, but there's a few that, like their number 22 will catch and shoot right away, and it's good. The Satellites, a quick pass and try to get a three, and it's a little long. The Satellites can't get the rebound. It's out on the sideline.
Absolutely. And when your 7 guys just casually hitting from range from a nice little 20-footer, just casual shooting it, you're going to be in a rough night.
Yeah. when the team you're playing seems relaxed, that's a bit of a red flag for the Satellites. So that means I need to turn the pressure on. They need to make them uncomfortable. Let me see there. Not too sure what happened there, but Westville gets the ball back around the perimeter. Really just a 4 out with the post. Oh, and a deep three. Again, those threes are tough. They're draining them pretty easily. And even if they don't make them, they're getting the rebound. So they're getting those 2 points really almost every possession they're scoring. But the Satellites just really can't respond. As you see there, a good play, missed the bucket, but is fouled. Going to the line for 2.
Maybe the Satellites can make a run like they did with Knox. Higley was kind of the spark plug last week with that as well last Friday.
Right, yeah. Obviously, they need to, of course, again, easier said than done, but if they want to have a chance, they're going to have to pick up the energy now. They're down 20 with about 2.5 minutes left. And there we go, you make a free throw. Never give up, keep trying your best, and try to put some pressure on Westville. Having a little 2-post flash, 3 out. It's working pretty well for them. Lots of movement in that key. It's hard to keep track of everyone and the shooters on the perimeter, and they drain another one. I think those 2 post players going around the middle is kind of having a little bit of abnormal movements. They're hard to keep track of. And then they just have 2 to 3 shooters ready to knock down a 3 if it isn't able to score in the middle. So they're able to suck the defense in for those big shots. Again, there. Just kind of forgetting about those people on the perimeter is kind of the Achilles heel of the Satellites tonight. We had a nice shot from Horta, just not good. And timeout?
Timeout from Eubanks here. Or a foul called. A foul called.
Okay, well, Satellites get the ball. Pass it in. We have a drive, no good, and there's a foul. The Satellites are sent to the line again. These free throws are, gonna maybe do some momentum shifting, so hopefully we can have Welsh step up and get it done.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
a little far in the first one.
The game's starting to get a little out of hand here.
Yeah.
You want to get it even more going into halftime.
Right. 20 is it's hard to come back from, right? Especially so early on in the game. But he is able to make a second one. Making the lead 11 for Westville. Same offense. There's a lot you can do with that one. A lot of different shots for any player, really. And they're able to pass it into the post, and they get it. That was a nice little shot there. Difficult angle, but he's able to get it. Satellites rush the ball up, trying to get a quick 3, and it's good. Derek Welsh. Again, he's kind of been the star so far, keeping the Satellites in the game and creating that momentum. Westville responds right back. Their very own 3.
You could tell 22 is kind of a spot shooter here.
Yes. Yeah, he gets to that one spot on the 3-point, and he can make it. So again, it's recognizing that from the satellites and keeping tabs on him, knowing where he is on the court. He hasn't really moved from this angle. Again, same spot, and he drains it. You just can't forget about him.
But the thing is, though, there's so many other people that can beat you. Jackson, if you rush out in Jackson here, which you probably should, he can dump it down to Peppers, who can make your life a living, because it can be night time. Okay? Day and night, Kid Cudi kind of feel to it. Okay? Because he is a beast down low.
He is, and that's where help defense is going to come in. You're in a zone. You have to recognize where the ball is. You want to be at least one pass away if you're the closest one to the ball. So we really need to focus on shifting our defense towards the ball rather than towards people, because it's just the defense is too cluttered in the middle of the court. They're not covering enough of it. Yeah, but again, the same shot, he makes it. 3rd in a row. Someone has to get on him. Try to go for a layup and not quite. But who do we have?
You have Jay Hortza going to line, but man, you gotta call Miss Jackson because, geez, Louise, her baby boy is going downtown constantly. I mean,
Yeah, 9 points in the last probably minute.
absolutely.
Makes the first rebound. We got 2 subs coming in for Westville. And we can finally get set up on the line. Made the first one. Let's see if he can make the second. Yeah, and it's good. That was a great shot there. Only net. Westville bringing it up. Ooh, quicken the pace a little bit. Again, kind of this slower paced with well passing. Everyone's kind of staying in the spot. The only people moving are the 2 posts. Very efficient. Oh, that was a very far 3. Oh, I understand why you're doing that. Okay. Yeah, it's their offense is pretty basic, but it's very effective here.
Yeah, and you saw Salad going into that kind of pack zone a little bit. That's kind of 10 what you kind of seen over the past whatever that they feel like they can't run with a team. But it's not working. So what do you do? Do you go in a 2-3 trap kind of zone here and kind of get them out of the shooters out? But
I say 1-3-1. That's gonna, because they have 3 at the top. They're all spaced out, and then the 2 posts. You have someone guarding layup. You have the 2 people and the 3 that are able to get to those outside shooters, and then you have the 1 for the person who's at the top of the key. I think that is probably going to be their best bound defense if they don't change that offense.
And I would put Stroud as your kind of your Tolman-like kind of spy, okay? Because he's one of the quickest ones on the team, especially since you have Bennett and Grass hurt, because Grass was kind of your anchor down low a little bit, strength. So we still don't know what happened to Brendan Grass, but the way it's looking, our next cast of him will be Wheeler during the baseball season, but I don't know there, Raina. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just Sally's have been a little unlucky there. Injuries, of course, are a part of every sport, and it sucks to get them, and you can't play, and your team's suffering for it. But they happen, and you got to adapt, and you can't make that an excuse. You just have to step up.
So, looking at the score right now, what do you learn for the second half, and what do you bring into for next week when you have practices all galore before you have to play on next Friday against that juggernaut and North Judson. No offense to Wheeler, who has to play North Judson, but it would be how do I want to put this? It would be miracle on ice kind of situation for the Bearcats. They'll be that big of a
Right.
team. So
Yeah, I mean, stats don't really lie. If it's looking lopsided, it's lopsided. Everyone loves a Cinderella story, but everyone loves them because they don't happen that often. So maybe, but probably not.
maybe you'll get a retrievers situation, and then.
Right.
But this is a kind of fun thing here. A Hall of Famer sports writer Jim Peters is getting recognized here in halftime. Kind of
Very
fun.
cool.
Very cool. And
Aw, very cute.
they gave him the GOAT sign for his office.
You'd love to see stuff like that. It's nice that people, can take up the time to get recognized for the hard work that they do. He looks very happy.
Well deserved. He's been a columnist for the last 30-some years
Wow.
here in the region. So that GOAT tag is certainly there for Jim Peters. Kind of going to every single Laporte kind of school and kind of reporting on them and stuff like that over these years. So he's going to the Hall of Fame with our other buddy, Harold Walters. So we wished him and Harold the best of luck with their future endeavors. And Jim still got he's got years left. He hasn't retired yet. So
yeah. Hopefully the best years yet. And those people have done a lot for high school athletes. And able to let them get their stories out and be recognized a little bit more than at places who don't really have that press.
absolutely.
All right. Looks like he's coming off almost the end of halftime. And I think the Satellites really need to work on closing out and their spacing on defense. They get too clumped up on defense, and it leaves so many people open that they have a lot of options to shoot from. They know who the shooters are. They know what the offensive play is. So they need to kind of think ahead a little bit more and try to get a little bit more focused in on the whole court instead of maybe their man or just the ball.
Absolutely. And they got to stop the senior Javari ballin', okay? Because he's just balling shot calling on his senior night here because he's scoring inside, outside, getting a couple steals, getting rebounds, starting coast-to-coast action. They just got to control number 10 here. If
22
they can.
is also killing them, but he's hit 3 points in a row from the same spot. That's on the Satellites. Your defense should not let that happen 3 times in a row. So that you see there's a big issue there with they lose people. And it's a hard gift to have, but it's definitely going through practice. And I think maybe they haven't had a lot of practice with focusing on a shooter, and they really have just been working on the fundamentals. So I understand if that's the case, but I can totally understand how that's very frustrating as a coach to see the same play happen 3 times in a row and really no change.
Honestly, it might be 4 or 5 times in a row, to be honest with you. It's that same spot over and over and over again. And our players of the game, I mean, so far, our player spotlight, Winners Players Farms, proud sponsor of Regan's Corner Sports Network, leading corn and bean dispensaries in LaPorte County. Agriculture, 4 days for Clinton Township. But anyway,
So you're doing Horta dirty with that that picture of it.
I mean, Jay is looking good there and
In action.
in action there. But Caden Peppers, the funny thing is, we thank the reporter and the photographer for getting these live shots of
Yeah.
Caden Peppers and Jay Horta, Lynn O'Hara. Thank you, because we've had other reporters in the past who've been very difficult with all that stuff this year alone. So, anyway, thank you to Lynn O'Hara for letting us use throughout the year with the basketball, with the volleyball, with this and that, and then possibly with softball and baseball season. Even though we're going to get our media day for baseball, softball is still up in the air. Same with track. But anyway, get to these two individuals. Junior here, what are you seeing from Pepper so far?
He's a beast on the court. He's hard to impede. If he's getting the ball, he's probably going to score. If he's getting it down low, he can post up. It's hard to stop him on the post. So the best bet with him is just not let him get the ball. Then he's not really an issue. I don't really feel like he's kind of fighting to get the ball. So I think he's a little bit more easier to guard because he's been pretty relaxed on his post cutting and just kind of movement overall.
Absolutely. I think he's kind of a system player, Caden Peppers. I think he'll do whatever you need him to do. You need him to drop 30. He'll drop 30. You need him to get 10, 15 rebounds. He'll get 10, 15 rebounds. You need him to get good defense in the little post, make a decoy down there. He'll do it. And Jace, he's been shut down kind of easily here. You haven't seen too many shots for Jay. I would love to get the freshman a little bit more aggressive in this situation because you've seen when the satellites are going is when Jay Horta is scoring. Okay. And he's just not driving. I don't know if it's speed from this, but one of our keys is for the Westville Blackhawks is to stop Jay. And they've checked almost every single box that we've kind of set for the Westville Blackhawks so far, and South Central has not.
And they haven't. We've had a bit of, Derek Welsh has kind of stepped in that position because Horta just isn't getting the opportunities he's, used to having. But still, that's kind of one player that's vital to a lot of your offense that is well defended. So it's going to take some more teamwork, and hopefully in the half they're able to hash out whatever they need to fix, and we can see it here in the second half. Westville's up 57-30 in the start of the third quarter, and Westville brings the ball up. I always forget they switch, so I'm always surprised when they're going the wrong way. Satellites are looking like they are in man. A little switch from the 2-3. 2-3 just not quite working for them. They need to change on the defense, and they have pretty good spacing now, solid spacing, but they're able to kind of swing in there. Better defense, just not quite quick enough for that block. And the Satellites get a foul. They're taken out on the baseline. Satellites been getting a lot of foul calls in this game, and they've made most of their 3-point, so that's good.
Absolutely, but Javari Ballin, I mean, have you ever heard of a name for a kid so appropriate?
Yeah, I agree. It's a cool name. He's a great player, yeah.
And Welsh with a little floater there, Raina.
Yeah, that was nice. Welsh has really stepped up this game, and I like that a lot. Oh my God. What a shot. That was just an off-balance, 1-foot, mid-range jumper. But we're trying to get a 3, and it's a little long. And we get the rebound. Nice. Great rebound there. Rebounds are a big part of the Satellites game. Nice. Kraus gets the little floater again. If they get when they get shut down in rebounds, they tank really bad. But when they get those rebounds, of course, they have more opportunities to shoot. So they really are able to capitalize on them, especially in this game.
Absolutely. And Jay Horta finally getting a little bit of space. Too soon for me, announcer's jinx, even though I was at the game live. But Peppers with a putback there.
Right, yeah, and again, that's kind of a little push from Horta to hopefully get a 3 there. Just a little short, causing it to go in and out. He's just a little off tonight. It happens. And hopefully he can power through and sort of pop out in this last few minutes of the third quarter. We need something. We need some type of score to get the Satellites up and ready to go. Strauss thinks he can do it. Shots made, but I think it was a foul before it, or is it an and one?
It was a and one. He got fouled in midair there. Strout going with the and one, like we talked about, maybe getting that energy a little bit here in a 30-point game. But we got to get going, got to get rolling, because there's 3 Blackhawks trying to get that player of the game big time.
Right.
Hannon, Jackson, and Ballin.
Yeah, I think the Satellites need to recognize that 3 points are just not dropping today. So they should be driving as much as they can because they're getting the foul calls. Drive, you could score and get a foul shot, or you might just get fouled and you're still going at the line for an easier shot. I think that's their best bet on offense. Also bringing up that energy. If you're driving all the time, you have to be moving your feet, good footwork, so you're really more ready. And we have great help defense there from Horta in the right spot. And boxed out, just reached right over. But we get the second one, and he's fouled.
Absolutely. Just if Caden Peppers goes up strong there, either he draws the foul or he becomes the foul in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Horta did a good box out, but that dude's hard to move. If he's going to stand right there, you can't really push him off the spot. And we have Satellites, nice dribbling in, passing out again. A lot of more energy. A bad pass there, but more energy, which is great. That was a bit nerve-wracking, but Satellites foul on the shot. And we have Ward on the foul on that one.
You can tell that Javari kind of models his game after a Jawed Moran or a Jalen Ivey kind of, because he's slashing, but then he can kind of sit back and hit the casual 3 in your face.
Yeah, again, that was good boxing out by the Satellites. I think that's probably something they talked about. I saw 3 players boxing out, and they were able to get that rebound. Nice little post move, and he makes it. Drow. He's picked it up. Again, he's a second-half player, and it's really nice to see that. That didn't change this game. That's tough. Going in and get the rebound and fouled.
That's a dangerous feeling there, Raina, because till this point, Peppers, one of their star players, really hasn't been it going lately for the first half. Now he's starting to kind of cook down in that low post.
He is, and I think that's because of man, he works better. I think he probably prefers to be defended in man because it's hard for really anyone on the Satellites to match up to him. So it's going to take a bit more of a team effort guarding him, which is really hard to do. Which I think that's why that zone was kind of slowing him down a bit. But now he's able to move freely.
But another thing where they were just hitting shots too, Westville. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of sit back. And speaking of hitting a shot, Peppers with 3, a stretch 4 there, mate.
Again, you just don't want him to get the ball. I mean, if he gets the ball, he's lethal. But we have seen that the Satellites can when he gets the ball again. And almost dunks it. Just you have to have someone on him. He's getting hot right now.
Raina, that wasn't almost. That was a poster.
Oh, someone did not like that call.
Foul on shooter, his third, team fourth.
His third. All right, we have maybe. Yeah, Satellites have been getting a lot of foul calls here, so Westville might be getting into some foul trouble if the Satellites are able to continue on that trend. Hopefully, slowing them down and preventing them from going. Horta with the off-balance shot, a little short. And there you go. He gets the ball too easy. And there we go. Nice. That was nice dribbling it out of that. That was a pretty tough two-man press. And the Satellites able to get fouled and look at the ball on the sideline. Again, Satellites are getting the calls here, so as long as they stay aggressive with those are really going to help them decrease this lead.
Absolutely.
We have, again, some pretty quick movement. The Satellites don't really look tired, which is a good thing. And we have Welsh with the ball, being the leader of the team, running a play. Bit of a miscommunication there, but Horta gets the ball. He's going to dribble in. From the elbow, not quite, a little off, a little to the right. And Westville's going coast to coast. On the ground, blocking foul from the Satellites. Can't move those feet.
For the Satellites, I would love to see a little bit more box sets, a little bit more driving, a little bit more scouting, honestly, to be honest with you. Because it seems like they've already played this team. It seems like the slowing down is kind of the only thing they took from it a little bit.
Right.
But you got to drive. You got to get Javante Balling in foul trouble. You got to get Peppers trying to get him in foul trouble. They kind of slow the game down with that aspect instead of just running it up down the floor with people that are stronger, faster than what you are.
Right, yeah. I think that was a blocking foul, right?
That was a blocking foul.
And again, if they're in foul trouble, they're going to play more hesitant. You're going to have a lot more room on your offense when the star defenders or the defenders down low are getting a lot of calls. They don't want to foul out. And the refs are calling really everything for the Satellites here, so they have a great opportunity there. And again, just not quick. I saw two Satellites not move on that free throw. They just don't seem in it right now.
Absolutely.
They got that 3-point.
And Kale Peppers with the easy assist there. I mean, they call him Little Peppers for a reason. I mean, because he just gets those dimes like crazy from that low post. And Ballin just getting all that all-star autos player, the game mojo, as you can kind of see.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Satellites are looking like they have pretty solid offensive plays. They just, like usual, they just can't finish. If they can't finish, they need to work on their rebounds. I feel like they've come out in the second half a little bit better on the rebounds, but Westville's still out-hustling them a little bit, so we need a little bit more hustle. You're not quite as strong as them, so you have to get a little bit more creative with how you're going to deal with those post players. Kind of in those situations, you kind of just have to annoy the post player is like the best way I can put it. You just need to get in their way as much as possible. You might not be able to move them off their spot, but you'll be able to maybe take them off their game a little bit. And it's Westville's ball. Horta subbed out. Take a little breather. And Westville's up 82-41 with about 1 minute left in the third quarter. And we have 5 outs looking like. 5 out with a baseline runner. Nice cuts. Again, this kind of slow pace, but a little spin move. Satellites foul in the court.
And Jack Stacy just goes a little bit too fast there, trying to drive.
Yeah, just not really there. I mean, you could take it if you want. You're up by quite a bit, so now there's time to kind of practice those things. Lots of fouls here, lots of calls. I believe that was on the Satellites.
And the Satellites are trying to get into
it.
There's a foul. But the Satellites are trying to get into their kind of motion, kind of curling kind of sets here. As you can kind of see, trying to get players in space and kind of along those lines. But you kind of want to see the pick plays a little bit more, a little give and go with maybe Lonback down the post, see if he can draw some fouls or get some post plays down there and feed the big man so he can dish it out. Because that's what Westville's been burning South Central so far in. And when I say so far, I mean this game is out of reach. It's a 40-point game. You're working on stuff because this is a similar team that you're going to face on Friday. But North Judson, I'm going to say this till the cow comes home, is a better team than this Blackhawk team, okay? With Schumacher, Jordan, okay? They just are. Because when they played earlier in the year, Westville lost about 15 points to them. So you got to learn. You got to look at the film here and kind of see what you guys done well during this kind of way and what you have done not so well. And there's a lot of not so well here, right, Raina?
Right, yeah, and I really think they need to focus on individually what they are doing. It needs to be not really a team thing right now. It needs to be individuals, because individuals are what are messing this up. They're taking bad shots, they're making bad passes. It seems like they're running the right plays. They're just not able to connect on it fully or to finish. So those are teams they need to identify themselves, and hopefully watching it helps people a lot with learning, because you just don't recognize how your body's moving until you see it. So this videotape is amazing for coaches to have. They can just cut it up, maybe do some highlights, lowlights. And you're right, they just don't use the post player as much as they should. I think it's a little difficult for him to make shots in general, but again, you could pass in and then pass out to the three-point. You're going to suck in the defense. So if they can use him a little bit more. Yeah, we have a little missed pass and then a little layup, coast to coast. Like, look at that. Yeah, there you go. He was posting him up. I don't think it's that great to pass it that close. All the defenders are still around you. But look at that. Kind of little back door there.
I mean, you're feeding the big guy. The big guy feeds you. Let's go.
Satellites having a good bit. 2 last possessions here. Able to get a stop on the other side, but they step over the baseline. I'm just getting foul. Let's say they're in foul trouble now. They're getting those one-on-ones. I believe they're in double digits now. Just getting one-on-one. That's great for them. That means they know they need to drive, and they're making them. The last one-on-one, they made the first one too, so they're doing well on their free throws this game, which is something they should be proud of.
Absolutely, but you should be starting the game like this. Driving, having the mentality to finish, okay? That's something I never had as a player. That's why we struggled like this ball club, to be honest with you. And number 40, the senior, gets a nice little 3 basket there and stretches Westville's lead. Okay, because you saw it from Javari Ball in there, Raina.
Oh! That was almost good. Sorry, what were you saying?
You saw it from Javari. He just drive down their throats tonight.
It's the confidence. Again, yeah, you're right. It's the confidence. You got to believe that you're going to make a shot or that you're going to get fouled. You should always, always, always be looking to finish your shot and not looking for a foul. You know, it's a mentality that, you know, obviously you need to have the skills to back it up, but sometimes you got to fake it to make it. So the highlights need to be confident here and
Absolutely.
really own their movements.
You gotta have a little bit more of the Mamba mentality here, and we're
Yeah.
not seeing it at all
No
here.
mama.
We ain't seeing no Mamba, man. We're seeing the gardener snake mentality right now.
But yeah, again, especially this late in the season with not a great record. That's hard to have, but you know, gotta look for the next year and get excited about that and realize that right now you're working for next year too. Oh, I don't know about that. I think he slipped, but that was a bit rough. I hope he's okay. That was a hard foul or
Absolutely.
drop.
But like you said, you gotta be looking for next year because this was a measuring stick to a North Judson team that you're gonna play on their home floor. Make it even worse.
Yeah.
Okay, the Nest is a pretty big basketball kind of feel to it. And plus, they're good this year, so it's going to be packed. That gym's going to be packed.
And the Satellites need that home court energy sometimes, I can tell. The student section gives them a lot of hope towards that fourth quarter. I feel like they're doing pretty well in this half. I feel like they're giving a pretty good effort. Probably tired, but they look pretty good. And they're just right there, right? They're so close. See, that's the right play, right move, right time to take a shot. Just can't finish. And again, you see good defense. They're able to stop the ball, but they just can't score. So I think their score looks a lot worse than I think how they're playing.
Absolutely. That's why you want to slow the game down. You want to be more of a defensive-orientated team because that's what they're built for. It's fun to run and gun and kind of this and that, but when your team is kind of a slow, grinded-out kind of team, you got to do that. You got Southern teams who win state championships on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the tempo of the game really messes with flow. It messes with your shot. It messes with your offense. If you're able to take control of the court and you decide what the pace is going to be, that's a huge advantage for you. And that takes a lot of you need a good point guard for that. And I think the Satellites was Welsh. I believe Welsh was our point guard for quite a bit of it. He's been doing a good job off the court.
Absolutely.
But when he was on, he was a big factor in the game. And so far, he's my player of the game for the Satellites. So I'm hoping to see him come out here in the fourth quarter and, I don't know, maybe create a little bit of momentum so the Satellites can leave here on a higher note than they would if they didn't get a little bit better.
I think they're just going to rest their players for now and kind of talk about it over kind of a week span and kind of just rest the North Judson game.
Yeah, they definitely need the rest. This was I would say physical game, but it was, definitely tiring.
Definitely tiring. And you see kind of Caleb Peppers not getting going. But
yeah, he's not jumping for that.
In this fourth quarter, he's kind of taking it over a little bit here. Kind of with the pace and kind of driving. He is the sophomore and
Ooh. Yeah,
sophomore. So you're going to have him and his older brother for another year or two. This and that. You get a little bit lucky. You get a little bit lucky, though, with Javari being a senior. But you still got that freshman who knocks down trays.
Yeah, again, you see a lot of potential on both teams. Our freshmen have really pleasantly surprised me with how they're able to be so confident on the court. It's hard as a freshman to shoot threes, right? It's hard to miss threes and then shoot another one. There's a lot of self-doubt, but I feel like the freshmen here don't really have that, which is a great barrier that they can break early on.
Honestly, the freshman class is probably the best class I've seen for South Central in a long time, since the Carr and the Glisick days. That was 2-3 years ago. Um,
Well, that's great to hear. I don't know much of the Satellites history, so
yeah,
it's good to know that this is going to be a better program each and every year.
absolutely. Hopefully, they get better one day at a time. Because today was pretty rough. And when your best athletes just focusing on one sport, this is what kind of happens when you have, because you want that multiple sport athlete, but because let's just say Farrell, Mr. Bradley Farrell, that we're going to see during baseball all year long, throwing about 95 miles an hour, about 95, topping off. But the fun fact was he started as a freshman on a really good team with Glisick and this and that. So in his junior year here, he could have. This might have been a little bit different, but I can see why you picked baseball.
Right, yeah. I like the play they were running there. That's kind of what I think we've been wanting, is that running around, going in, scrambling up that defense. So they really had that corner three too if they wanted to shoot that, but he decided to dribble in and get that foul. A good play. I think that the Satellites should use a little bit more often, especially when they're getting out of a rut.
Absolutely. I think they should go into flex kind of more often because they are a space out kind of shoot kind of team. And curls, maybe picks. And it's just they go into a motion and they don't run it to the fullest as you kind of see it.
Yeah, I see a lot of like hesitancy, and that's just something Westville doesn't have. You don't see them hesitate. Everything's pretty automatic. So it's just kind of seeing where you could be, I guess. And kind of just the things you need to develop. I feel like their defense has stepped up in the first half. I know Westville isn't going as hard, but they're not told, like, they're still giving it a really good effort. And I'm sure they still want to score at least a little bit more, as they're about 120 on the clock. Westville 90, Satellites 47. Almost got the ball there.
Absolutely. But it's hard to lose to your rival like this.
It is. That's an even tougher blow. On the home court, too. Gotta go home now.
Long bus ride after getting blown out.
Bad on the bus. Yeah, those bus rides are not fun. Definitely had a few of those.
The only blessing is it's only about a 5-10 minute drive, so it's going to be a quick bus ride home here for the Satellites. Kind of trying to regroup for the North Judson game that's going to be on Championship Network / North Judson for you guys at home, looking for that game next Friday. But what could you say? You got a horrible draw in the state tournament, and then now it's just. I mean, this is what upsets are made of, though. I mean, you look like this, and then you turn around, and then you upset the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and again, you have on and off day. Horta had an off day today. He wasn't able really to contribute that much. We saw Welsh step in a little bit, and he definitely is my player of the game for the Satellites. It was really good to see him doing that. But, again, playing against a really good team. So, like, schools are better than you,
Absolutely. And that's what South Central felt again tonight. Kind of like what Morgan Township, when they played against Morgan Township earlier in this year. It's kind of similar. But this one's kind of disappointing, Raina, because you only lose to a team who blew Westville out by 20. So, I mean, this is going to sting. This was a motivator, either in the wrong direction or the positive direction in this situation. But my player, the all-star player of the game, goes to Rivalry balling. Because you know why, Raina?
Because he's balling.
Because he's straight up balling tonight. Okay? So for Westville and for South Central, have a good Regan's Corner night. So, Raina, thank you for coming on the cast here, rebroadcast, and we'll hit you up during, be producing for our
Yeah.
baseball and
Baseball.
basketball and stuff like that, and we'll set you up with a basketball podcast so you get a little bit more work with us as well.
Nice.
So, let's get it going and let's roll into baseball and softball season, because our next broadcast will be against New Prairie for softball's opener. I'm kind of pumped with that since they just lost in state. And you got one of the best matchups in the state. You got Lexi Johnson versus their ace for New Prairie. So I'm pumped about that game. And I'm sure the satellite audience is pumped about it as well.
Yeah, sounds like a good one. I'm excited.
But, yeah.